We go live to Caracas, Venezuela, where the National Assembly is holding an ordinary session to discuss the transnational ExxonMobil's attempts to undermine Venezuela's economic stability with the complicity of Guyana's government. Let's listen.
In these heroic
times of the 21st century, there is a controversy of the defense of the Guayana Esequiba. All the people that have participated in this controversy in the last decade before the International Court of Criminal Justice that have taken all this affair. It is very significant that this conference on yesterday, all the honorable lawmakers and the Thai people should know the evidence presented by our Vice President. And this situation refers that she denounces the lobby being promoted by ExxonMobil against oil companies that work in Venezuela. They act with absolute criminal vision. We have to denounce this hegemonic corporation, ExxonMobil, as a criminal corporation from a long time in nearly the entire planet Earth, trying magnicides, funding armies, funding all kinds of actions against the peoples, of course, including us. We must remember that now, on March 9th, it was the 10th anniversary that we called this same assembly. It is the anniversary of the executive order by President Barack Obama, which was an unusual and extraordinary threat. ExxonMobil was and still is behind this criminal action. And precisely, the executive vice president presented a report prepared by ExxonMobil with a group of people who are conspiring against Venezuela with support of the puppet government of the Republic of Guyana. So we must know this in depth. So we ask the President to open the debate in this honorable assembly to discuss this problem that is so affecting this country. Appreciated Dr. Jorge Rodriguez. I ask this honorable chamber that and on March 1st, it was learned that there was a military ship of the Venezuelan army in the zone in conflict. This is a reminiscence which the referendum with the 5 questions that materialize the responsibility of our glorious armed forces to guarantee the defense of this area. For the reason, I recall question number 4. But there is a 4th question that is very important to understand the high responsibility of our Army and Navy and the ships patrolling this area. Question number 4 says, do you agree with Guyana's decision to use illegally and in violation of human rights? Do you oppose that? Yes, our glorious people. It's a mandate from the state, a mandate from our republic, so that our Navy defend our sovereignty there, and we are peace-loving people, a brave people ready to defend the Guayana Esequibo. And the most important, Mr. President, the lawmaker William Fariña was referring to the fifth item on the agenda. José Joseph Brito, take the floor. Good afternoon to all of you in the directing board. A lawmaker from the Homeland bench. We from our bench, and for those who are against the country and the nation and the interest of the Venezuelan people, certainly we want to arrest them. And all those actions by the Venezuelan people, we support them, especially with that Zelensky of Latin America, who received $18 million from a law firm from ExxonMobil to file a lawsuit against the Venezuelan government. The document that established sanctions on Venezuela's oil has less power. Donald Trump thinks he's the universal policeman. That's his problem. But here, we must understand that the dignity of Venezuela is not negotiated. And one thing is that we oppose. We can criticize a government. But another thing is to go against the Venezuelan state, is go against the interests of Venezuela. But another different thing is that those Venezuelans who celebrate and steer the actions of ExxonMobil action, and we have seen many cases here of those Cinco boys, and there are many USA boys and Cinco boys who are walking the streets of Maracaibo. Who was the ambassador of Guaidó during the attempt of manicide against the president of Venezuela. The Cinco boys and the US boys, and many people here bend it, but not to break. And the Venezuelan state will be toy horses to come here to go against the government of Venezuela and the Venezuelan people. The current Minister of the Interior presented the law of extinction. The Simón Bolívar law must be enforced with a retroactive action. So from here, we reject that pretension, not only using the Latin American Zelensky against the interest of the country, but what they try to do now, that reverse lobby to make us yield and to reduce our power. Keep believing, because that will not happen in Venezuela. Those who call themselves Venezuelans and who support that kind of sanctions, they will not. There was a statement by lawmaker José Brito on the third item of the agenda. It is important to stand up that they reject the sanctions against the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. In relation to this delicate issue, I support what the distinguished lawmakers Fariñas and Brito said, to follow up on the denunciation made by the executive vice president, in addition to what was said about the intervention of ExxonMobil to support the U.S. government to suspend the licenses, and she mentions the names. She mentioned Juan Zárate, U.S. National Advisor, Security Advisor, and related to a paramedic, Peter Williams, a vice president of ExxonMobil. It is very important to create, to keep on the agenda of this National Assembly the following up of this issue, because it is the beginning of a plot against the Republic, and we must be prepared. Those who are present here, regardless of the opinions contrary to our government, should not express opinions against the peace of the Republic, of the territorial integrity of the Republic. These are complex times for the U.S. government. The stock market has crashed, especially regarding technological companies, and one of them is Grugman, to which one of the participants in this lobby belong. It is a very complex time for them, but we must be very careful. This National Assembly must be very attentive. You said a few days ago that soon that money that we owe to Chevron, due to the situation and the decision by the U.S. government, we could use it to meet our people's demand. And I think it's a right decision. There is a legal element that we must take into account. If the U.S. government eliminates the licenses and prevents that Venezuela paid its commitment with Chevron, it might mean the extinction of a commitment on the debt, because Venezuela doesn't want to cancel the debt with that company. Because we could accompany Chevron in the lawsuit that it might file against the U.S. government, but unfortunately these two companies of U.S. capital, they work together, and they damage the Republic, and the company is also damaged. There must be a juridical follow-up to break the dependence on the American government. It should be a need. Some national companies are willing to support PDVSA to continue, as it was decided by President Chavez, and like Nicolás Maduro has done recently. Thank you, Deputy. The first Vice President of the Pedro Infante. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Vice President. Greetings to the Venezuelan people. In this third item, our National Assembly is debating the lobby promoted by the U.S. company ExxonMobil against foreign oil companies that operate in the Republic of Venezuela. I would like to start this debate highlighting the denounce made by the Executive Vice President against ExxonMobil, which is strongly linked to the Republican Party in the United States. And from where the company comes from, let's remember that man called Rockefeller, Standard Oil, which has the monopoly in the U.S. oil industry, and it was divided into 28 companies. But as time went by, that company that became Standard Oil New Jersey, today Exxon, and Standard Oil of New York, Mobil, they merged in 1999, so they became ExxonMobil. Since 1999, the company that was divided into 28 companies is the ExxonMobil today. What is the relation with the revolution, the Bolivarian Revolution? Well, when President Chavez took office, he began the defense of our resources, sovereignty of oil, the control of PDVSA and the Orinoco oil strip. In 2006 and 2007, there was a nationalization, and the most affected company among all oil companies were ExxonMobil. Corporations rule in the United States. Its political system is governed by corporation, the military corporations, or the industrial companies, and of course the oil complex. So ExxonMobil is the first company in the United States and in more than 50 countries. It has a close relation with Halliburton, which is one of the most largest companies in oil service. So there is this lobby that we are debating. It's like the big corporations influence in politics and how they influence on U.S. politics. The PAC, they are the hinge between the political electoral system and corporation. This is the mechanism established in the United States so that the big corporations can support politics. So it comes contributions to campaigns, donations, and of course, ExxonMobil is one of the main contributors to the campaigns of Republican politicians. There is an element they call spiraling door that refers that when public servants who have been CEO in some corporations and then they became politicians, or the other way around. They had political posts and now they become executive of big companies. Rex Tillerson is very well known in Venezuela. He was Secretary of State in the U.S. administration. He was CEO of ExxonMobil for 10 years. Trump's Secretary of Energy, he was governor of Texas, Scott Pruitt, who was the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, among others, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney. Sorry about my English. I'm trying to do the best. Was a member of the Bush administration. It was CEO of Halliburton. That was the largest oil service provided company. And now this man denounced, Juan Carlos Zárate, denounced by our Executive Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez. He was an advisor in the George W. Bush government and the fight against terrorism. He was the architect to freeze the assets of organizations that sponsor terrorism. He approved sanctions against countries like Venezuela and Iran and North Korea. He was linked to the Republican Party. Since 2001, during the Bush administration, until today, Juan Zárate, whom we denounced again, the Tsar of sanctions, he designed them, he implemented them, and he promotes them. And now he's meeting Marco Rubio, one of his kind, from the Republican Party, who has implemented and boosted the instance of the Youth Congress, and now as Secretary of State. We, comrades, must remember the nationalization proposed by Commander Chavez that has to do with the defense of the interests of the homeland, the sovereignty, the coup d'etat in 2002, the Hydrocarbon Act that established the defense of the homeland's interest, the control of PDVSA, the review of the contracts so that the country can get more profits from oil sales, the distribution of the sales of oil sales, the establishment of the creation of Petrocaribe is part of the sovereignty policy promoted by Commander Chavez. But ExxonMobil is thirsty of revenge against Venezuela. It is trying to use sanctions and blockades, and now with the illegal exploitation of oil in a territory that is in dispute between Guyana and Venezuela, and they want to exploit oil in that area. From this tribune, we denounce ExxonMobil, we denounce Juan Zárate, we denounce Marco Rubio, and the entire clique of the U.S. oil sector, especially ExxonMobil, that want to damage the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. And on May 25th, there will be elections, and there will be a government in the Guayana Esequibo. And the rights that for history, that due to history, are ours, long live the Guayana Esequibo, down the imperialism and ExxonMobil. Pedro Infante on debate on the Legislative Assembly about ExxonMobil and the decision to...
We're watching live the Venezuelan National Assembly during an ordinary session to discuss the transnational ExxonMobil's attempts to undermine Venezuela's economic stability. During their remarks, lawmakers condemned the U.S. company's actions that go against the people of Venezuela. Lawmakers denounced the decades-long conspiracies against the nation in complicity with the government of Guyana. Lawmakers also pledged that said actions and sanctions will not stop Venezuela's development, affirming that the nation will continue to prosper and secure the well-being of its people. This is all for the moment. Stay tuned with teleSUR English for more.